Hello everyone, LucaYasha here, and I realised I wanted to make this video a day earlier, but couldn't get around to finding the time. But today I'm just going to talk about what I think is what's happening with Magiana. Because there have been people speculating that, oh, it's new Generation 7, Gen 7, Gen 7, Generation 7 coming round. And I personally don't think that's the case. I don't think this is really a lead into Generation 7. More about this Pokemon is still going to be Generation 6. Sort of like how Emerald was the sister title to Ruby and Sapphire, Z is going to be that. But let's actually talk about what Magiana first before we get into any more detail about that kind of theory. So Magiana is has quite a mysterious backstory. It's man-made with a metallic body, having been created 500 years ago, and apparently in the new movie, Volcanion is going to be chasing after this thing. And that's literally all we know. Korokoro, we leaked this, and this is what we got. Now, if we actually have a look at it design-wise, it's very obvious that it's going to have a steel typing on it. I don't think there's anyone who can really deny that. For one, the metallic body, it specifically says man-made metallic body, which thinks of steel. It's got the gear headdress. It's got a Pokeball dress as well, because you can just see the line. It makes it look like a Pokeball. But there are people speculating on what other type it will be. Some people say it's Steel Psychic. Some say it's Steel Fairy. Some say it's Steel, just plain Steel in general. For me, I'm thinking I'm banking a bit more on possibly Fairy or Psychic. Just because it's obviously got that sort of elegant design. But it's called Magiana. So that's the thing that makes me think it might possibly be a Steel Fairy, or it could just be a Steel Psychic as well, but we really don't know at this point. We don't know. It's sort of like that hybrid, because it's got like the clank head, and if it is a Steel Fairy, it'll be sort of like the legendary counterpart to Klefki, I guess, sort of like how Diantha is a legendary version to Carbink. But let's actually talk about it in terms of what I think this thing means to the Pokemon series. I don't believe this is Generation 7 lead. If people are speculating that, oh, this is for Generation 7, Gen 7, Gen 7, I do not think Pokemon Z is going to be Generation 7. I think it's literally just going to be a follow-up game to X and Y, sort of like Emerald to Ruby and Sapphire. I don't think it's Gen 7 quite yet. What I believe this thing is the 100 base stat total Pokemon. Sort of like how in Gen 1 you had Mew, Generation 2 you got Celebi, 3 is Jirachi, 4 was Manaphy, and 5 was Victini. Now we've had Diantha, Hooper, and lots of other legendaries pop up in X and Y, but none of them have had 100 stats all round. And that's what I think this thing is. I think this is going to be that 100 gap filler for Generation 6. Because I thought at first Hooper was going to be it, or sorry, Diantha was going to be it first, but then Diantha turned out didn't have base 100 all round, just turned out to be another legendary. Then you have Hooper, I thought that might have 100 all round. Nope, it's not that. So I think this Pokemon is going to in fact be Generation 6 100 all-round Legendary. And the main reason why I think that is just because, I mean, it could be a similar thing to Togepi, I guess, in the fact that in the old anime they had Togepi before Togepi was actually in Gen 2, or Gen 2 was around. So it could be that, this could be a Legendary for Generation 7, but not actually the game Generation 7 coming out yet. I don't quite think that Pokemon's at that point yet to release Generation 7. I think it's still a little bit too soon. So what I believe is that this is going to be an event legendary, or quite obviously another event legendary, but it's going to only be Generation 6 for the Pokemon Z game. Mainly just because it's said way too early for Generation 7 I feel, and plus it says with Volcanion. Volcanion is meant to be a Generation 6 Pokemon, but it obviously didn't come out yet, it was held back. But that's what I've noticed with Generation 6. They keep holding back legendaries and serving them up each on a plate. So we had, first up was Diantha, I believe. Was there anything after? I think it was just Diantha. Then we got Hooper, and now we're getting Magiana, but Volcanion before that, and obviously Zygarde 100% form. So like I said, I believe Pokemon Z is not Generation 7. I think it's Generation 6 still, but just obviously after the events of X and Y, and or the happening X and Y, but it's just updated, so new things are added. So I think that this is not the sign for Generation 7, like I've heard tons of people say, oh, Gen 7, Gen 7, Gen 7 confirmed, Gen 7 confirmed. I'll believe Gen 7 confirmed when I see the starters, because usually that's the key bit here. One legendary for me doesn't quite give away the whole, oh, it's definitely Gen 7, Gen 7's coming around the hill now, you got to get excited, yo, you got to get hyped. Now, I do believe that this mon is literally just the 100 base stat total Pokemon that we've had in all generations so far, because Diantha didn't fill it, Hooper didn't fill it, they're just like new legendaries they added. Well, this thing could potentially be that 100 base stat total Pokemon. Now, in terms of what I think for like its typing, I am more leaning to the Psychic, to the Steel Fairy type, just because obviously Fairy, the new introduction, but it might as well be Steel Psychic as well, but we really don't know at this point. All we know is it's definitely Steel, and I am still quite looking forward to finding out news about this thing, what it's capable of, because for me it doesn't quite look like a Pokemon that could destroy worlds like Volcanion, and I wonder what its actual purpose in the story of the film is going to be. But either way, I just wanted to voice my opinion on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about what you believe this Pokemon, whether you think it's Gen 7, what typing, whatever you feel relevant to speak about. So, thank you all so much for watching. I've been LucaYasha. I will see you all in the next vid. Goodbye.